Okay, good afternoon and welcome back. Hi guys. Firstly, thank you so much for all the love you've shown to my fifth video, which I had posted just a couple of days back. That was the starting of the bone marrow interpretation series. I got a lot of new subscribers, and I'm happy to tell you we are 180 plus subscribers now, and had a lot of views. In fact, for a long time, that video was one of the first fastest watched videos that I had uploaded. I'm still getting a lot of views on that. I got a couple of messages from juniors, from colleagues who really appreciated that video. Thank you so much. All these views, the subscribers, the appreciation, it motivates me to work better and to bring better content to you. A big shout out to all my subscribers, to my entire viewership. Thank you for supporting me so much. I know I make mistakes, and I promise I'll try and improve myself and do better. I would also like to give a shout out to few of my viewers who messaged me on Messenger and appreciated my work. Guys, it means a lot. There was Bharani Dharan. Best of luck to you. I hope I have pronounced your name correctly for your postgrad. Nisha Sharma ji, thank you so much for all your appreciation. Then there is one more person, Shrutika Dhawan. Thank you so much for reaching out to me and appreciating me. Then there is Faisal ji. Faisal ji, thank you so much. You keep appreciating me on each and every video that I post when I post about it on the Facebook. So thank you guys. Thank you. A big shout out to all of you, in fact, who are supporting me, and all those people who I know. You all know how much I love you, and we keep interacting on the message on the WhatsApp and the Messenger. So thank you so much for this, and please continue your support to my videos, which motivates me and helps me fulfill my passion of teaching actually. Moving on and not taking too much of the time now. This is the second part of the bone marrow series. I feel that this would be the sixth video, or if I should say the second part of the bone marrow series. I had taken erythroid lineage apart from the way that we make a bone marrow aspirate slide and how we process it. Today I'm going to take the myeloid lineage in an aspirate slide. Right now I'm not discussing imprinting biopsies. I'll discuss that later on. And I am going to discuss the troubleshoots in the normal. This would be a smaller video because I'll be cutting short on the procedure, which I've already told you in brief once. So don't worry, this will not be an hour long video, which the previous one was. Okay, so let's start with the first slide. You already know I've told you where we perform bone marrow aspirates. I've already told you the preferred sites. I've told you what precautions to take. Maybe I missed a few points. Maybe I don't remember telling you that if there are any skin infections or the person who you want to perform the procedure on, he has coagulation disorders, or there are some other he is osteoporotic, then we do not prefer doing bone marrow biopsies. And even when we try and do aspirates, look, if there is liver disease or coagulation disorder, or there is skin infection in that local site where you want to put the needle, we avoid it until either we find a new site or we wait for the person to recover and the coagulation profile to become normal or the skin to become normal. How? Because once you puncture that site, if there is a skin infection, that infection will go inside with your needle. Okay, and if there is a coagulation disorder, look, when you go through the muscle, the fascia, you injure a lot of small vessels. You might injure a major vessel if you are immature or an amateur, not immature but amateur in this. So that could cause big emergency. So that is why we avoid osteoporotic bones. We avoid because you might go into the bone, it might break. It happens a lot, and you might injure a major vessel. We avoid osteoporotic people, especially when we have to do a sternal aspirate or a tibial. If a child is suffering from some sort of a genetic problem and he is osteoporotic, osteopenic, not porotic, in children we use that word, then we avoid the tibiation of the tibia also. Yeah, the posterior superior iliac spine, which I've already told you about the last time, that you can try, but if it is not necessary, then I would suggest do not go for the procedure till the person recovers. Okay, so I'm not taking that much in detail. Maybe I missed these 2 points and I don't remember telling you, or maybe I did tell you that the sternum and the tibia. They are the sites for only bone marrow aspirate. When you are going for the sternum, always fix the guard. This I had told you, because if you don't fix the guard, you will injure the major vessels lying behind the sternum. Okay. So I think I've taken these points, so not and these points will get in textbooks also. So moving on, I had shown you this slide. Why I already told you कि methods क्या होते हैं, crush करके करते हैं या slide smear करते हैं and everything. I'm going to keep repeating this in all the bone marrow lectures that I take, just so that you know some part of it gets fixed in your brain, especially for the starters, for those people who are new to the field of pathology. One thing that I want to tell you, which is like a gross way of diagnosing a disease. I'm not going to tell you the normal thing. I've already told you that. You see these smears over here, right? You see these are particulate smears. This is less particulate. Then this is a proper tailed particulate smear. This is badly spread particulate smear. There is a disease I'm going to take up later on known as aplastic anemia. In aplastic anemia, what happens is that your marrow gets replaced by mature adipose tissue. ठीक है, there is mature fat, and then there are lymphocytes in plasma cells. The main hematopoietic element goes. I'll tell you what it is and all that when I take up aplastic anemia. Why I'm mentioning that disease over here is one thing that you can catch grossly on a slide of aplastic anemia marrow. Look, I could not put that here as a picture because that is something that you observe against light. I can't just put a picture and make you appreciate it. That is why I'm trying to explain it to you. When you take a slide which is of a normal marrow, you will see all these particles, right? Or maybe a few particles like this if there is some other fibrosis or something. But if you take a aplastic marrow smear, the surface of the smear glistens with fat, the adipose. Because what you aspirate is fat, because there is no marrow element left. All the marrow element has disappeared. So what we do is whenever we are seeing a CBC, suppose you don't have the clinical history, and in the CBC you are seeing lymphocytosis, there is sort of pancytopenia, maybe normoblastic to megaloblastic change in the MCV. You just take that slide and try to see it against a tube light or the natural light. If it is truly plastic, now you can see it like this also. The surface will appear like there are condensed droplets, shiny droplets on it, or the surface will appear oily to you. And when you put it against the light, that will shine. You know, that gives you an instant thing that, okay, this could be aplastic anemia. Okay, there are, as I go along, I'll tell you, conditions like hypoplastic leukemias also give a very dry tap. Dry tap means when you put the needle in, nothing comes out. So this is another important thing. I will discuss this when I finish the aspirate series. I'm telling you a few points now. If you get a hemodiluted marrow, okay, then there could be that the marrow is fibrosed, or it is beginning to get fibrosed, or your technique is wrong, or you did not enter the space. If you get nothing when you try to aspirate, there are multiple reasons. One could be you're still in the cortex, you have not pierced enough, the cortex is too thick. So you have not been like, I'll just show this to you over here, because this the myeloid I will not take much time, so I can take some time over here. If this is the bony cortex, okay, if this is the bony cortex and your needle is over here, and you think that you have reached till here and you've reached the marrow, because supposing this is a person with a thick cortex, you in 80% of the people, by the time you have this idea that up that I must have reached the space, now you are trying to aspirate, but the hub of your needle is still in the cortex. So what you will get is a dry tap. So first thing that you have to do is go a little back, go a little front. Try to adjust the position and you'll get the aspirate in your syringe. This is a layman thing. Most of the time I just catch hold of the thing, I do not remove the syringe and just try to manipulate a little to see the flow. However, if I feel that I have to manipulate a lot, then I remove the syringe, hold the end with my thumb, so that supposing if I have entered and the blood gushes out later on, and then take the stylus and put it back in. See the obturate and put it back in. Okay. So this could be one reason. Another reason could be that your marrow is completely fibrosed. That is seen in overt phases of myelofibrosis and overt phases of MPNs. I'll tell you all that. Don't worry if you don't understand that. This is for people who are in PG3. They'll understand. Of ET, of PV, polycythemia vera, essential thrombocytosis. These conditions, the overt phases where the fibrosis has set in, or shall I say the pre-main phase, there you can get a dry tap. Then a marrow packed with blasts. The blasts stick to the stroma so well and they adhere to each other so well that you will not be able to aspirate them. That marrow is totally packed. Or a marrow in of say MPN or CML or something in accelerated phase or something which is in kind of a maturation arrest. Sometimes even that excessively hypercellular marrow you cannot aspirate because of all the cell density and so much packing. Also, this thing is very common in MPNs. Why? Because MPNs, some of them are quite commonly accompanied with marrow fibrosis. Okay. Another thing is if it is a post chemotherapy marrow, there is a lot of marrow necrosis post chemotherapy, or even when the patient has acute leukemia and marrow necrosis has set in. Even then, you might not be able to aspirate too much. There may be some serous liquidy, blood-filled hemodiluted marrow. Okay. Or in post chemotherapy marrow, when the marrow has not regenerated much, again you might get that same kind of a marrow. So don't worry. First thing you should always rule out is procedural error. But if it is coming repeatedly by say two pathologists try it, one of them is experienced, then it has to be pathological. Another interesting point I would like to share over here is osteopetrosis. I have seen this in my experience in my clinical practice. There was one case of a 45-year-old female. Her marrow was so hard to aspirate. I mean, in the end, like 4 to 5 people tried and we could not aspirate. And finally, and her problem was just moderate pancytopenia. That's it, which was untractable. And then we went for other tests, and then later on, a diagnosis of osteopetrosis was made, and then she was sent to a higher center. And it is a long story, but finally, the diagnosis of osteopetrosis was made. So that was my first practical experience with a case of osteopetrosis. Very interesting. I will tell you, you won't believe it. The needle bent in us trying to just get through the marrow. So these are certain things, occasions that you keep encountering in your clinical practice, and please, yeah, this is for the juniors. Don't get disheartened if the marrow doesn't come out. Not always is it your procedural mistake. Sometimes it is the disease which is causing the problem. Okay. And I always keep this diktat, if I might say, for all the juniors, for all my colleagues. Look, if the person was normal, we will not be doing a marrow. And if we do a marrow, so we have to expect something abnormal. 70-80% times we are successful in getting the marrow. Sometimes the disease is such that you might not get the marrow. So don't get disheartened, because my experience is that all practical procedures, be it FNAC, be it bone marrow aspiration, when I was an intern, be it lumbar puncture, catheterization, NG tube insertion, anything, the CV line insertion, all that is practice and nothing else. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि you will do it, a senior can do it, you can't. A senior can do it only because they have practiced. And if they go out of practice, then even they can't do it. Okay? So moving on, lots of anecdotal talk. Next, this slide I have also shown you how many cells to count for the new beginners. It is 200 to 500. Please count 500. Don't go for 200. You will understand why I am saying that. Later on, you will start recognizing the cells so well that then you can do 200. No problem. You have to see the trails. I've told you all this. To those who have not seen it, please visit the lecture before this. You will understand. Then again, I'm not taking that. I've already taken it. The normal values. Otherwise, the lecture becomes too big and boring. I can understand. So this chart I wanted to show you, telling you. I think I missed this in the electrolyte, or did not tell you this clearly. So I just want to summarize it in short. There are some immature stem cells in the marrow. Then those stem cells, they acquire property of maybe producing hematopoietic. So hematopoietic cells. So those stem cells which are totally immature, they can become mesenchymal or hematopoietic. They become hematopoietic stem cells. Those hematopoietic stem cells divide themselves into two. There are two basic stem cells. One will give rise to the lymphoid lineage, and the second will give rise to the erythroid platelet and myeloid lineage. Okay, and this is also known as myeloid stem cells. And then there are certain colony stimulating factors in the myeloid lineage, which will give rise to the myeloid cells. Then some will give rise to the platelets, and some will give rise to the erythroid cells. The GM-CSF and the G-CSF, as shown in this picture over here, fine. This will also give rise to this paper, this picture I've taken from Google. It is a University of Minnesota picture, hematography plus. So this will give rise to the myeloid cells. A similar better picture that I have to show you over here is this one. This one shows you that this is the first multipotent stem cell. Okay, and after this multipotent stem cell, there will be one lineage of stem cells which will give rise to the entire lymphoid series up to the dendritic and the plasma cells. There will be one lineage of stem cells which will give rise to the MEGs, the erythroid as well as the myeloid. And I show you the GM-CSF and GCSF that will help in maturation of this entire myeloid series. This is given in textbooks also. You can screenshot from this presentation. I really like this image a lot because this image gives you things in concise and also tells you what part of the cell remains in bone marrow, what part comes in blood, and what part goes in tissue. For new people, for new pathologists and MBBS students, this part is important. So you can take a screenshot from this, or you can ask me if you want on Messenger and send this to you. Okay, and this is available on Google actually, so you can take it from there. Alright, now coming to the myeloid lineage, this is a blast cell of the myeloid lineage. The picture here is not very clear because the pixels are broken up a bit. So this is a blast cell. Now before all this is given in the textbook, please don't worry, just go and open the textbook. This is just for your help to make you understand better. The largest cell in the myeloid lineage is the promyelocyte, not the blast, as per the size. However, the N is to C ratio, the nucleus is to cytoplasmic ratio, is more in a blast rather than a promyelocyte. This might be the largest, but the amount of cytoplasm is more over here as compared to this. The textbook gives you the difference between the lymphoid and the myeloid blast, so I'm not going to discuss this over here. I am going to take it up when I am taking up different types of leukemia. So I'll start discussing. I can tell you a few points if you want me to. Like a myeloid blast has more than one nucleoli. It has 2 to 5. It has cytoplasmic granules, something called a collection of cytoplasmic granules like a rod, our rod, AUER, not OUR. Or rod, our rod, however you want to pronounce it. The chromatin is fine and there's still moderate amount of cytoplasm. However, a lymphoid blast has a very thin rim of, so this is too much, not exactly, so very thin rim of cytoplasm, maybe just 1 to 2 nucleoli. Some cytoplasmic vacuoles might be there. There are no granules, but this is only for MBBS. The PGs might be knowing, the third year PGs might be knowing, there is a subset of T-cell lymphomas and leukemias which has granules. Now I don't want to confuse you. So please don't, those who don't understand, don't even try to understand. This is only for those जिनको basics पता है और वो आगे के लिए revision के लिए सुन रहे हैं. This is not for the beginners. I'll take up T lymphomas, leukemias and then tell you how to differentiate. Okay. Then, okay. So that is your blast. Then comes your promyelocyte. Promyelocyte is bigger in size, might have 1 to 2 nucleoli. But how will you identify it? It will have cytoplasmic granules and everything. और रॉड नहीं मिलेगा प्रोमाइलोसाइट में जब तक कि कोई प्रॉब्लम ना हो, और वो प्रॉब्लम क्या है? अक्यूट प्रोमाइलोसिटिक ल्यूकीमिया. ठीक है, तो वो अभी हम नहीं पढ़ेंगे, अभी हम नॉर्मल, वी आर डीलिंग विद द नॉर्मल. सो इट माइट हैव अ फ्यू फाइन साइटोप्लाज्मिक ग्रैन्यूल्स. द एनसी रेशियो हियर विल बी लेस देन दैट ऑफ अ ब्लास्ट. साइज ब्लास्ट से बड़ा होगा, न्यूक्लियस थोड़ा श्रिंक करके छोटा हो जाएगा. हो सकता है इसमें भी एक दो, जैसे यहाँ पे ये है, ठीक है, और एक माने माने यहाँ बना दिया, तो एक दो न्यूक्लियोलाई दिखे. So this is a promyelo. This matures into a myelocyte. How we used to remember myelocyte is कि nucleus D-shaped हो गया. ठीक है? This is a D-shaped nucleus, fine granules and much more cytoplasm. This is one of the more prominent cells in a normal marrow as compared to a promyelo. Then comes the metamyelo. यहाँ पे there's slight indentation in the nucleus. It becomes kind of a kidney shape. And from this stage you can say, but आप बता सकते हो ग्रैन्यूल्स का कलर देख के कि ये इओसिनोफिलिक माइलोसाइट है या ये बेसोफिलिक माइलोसाइट है या ये न्यूट्रोफिलिक माइलोसाइट. You can tell that. Alright. Then comes your band form. The best way to remember is both these arms will be parallel to each other. That is a band. मतलब न्यूक्लियस के ये दोनों आर्म्स एक दूसरे के पैरेलल होंगे, तो वो इतना ऐसा हॉर्सशू सा बनाएगा कि दोनों आर्म्स पैरेलल होते हैं. दैट इज अ बैंड. And अमूमन when you do DLC, you count the neutrophil and the band form. At least I do that. मुझे easy लगता है together. Some people count it separately. ठीक है. And then of course this is the mature 2, 2, 3, 4 lobe, 6 lobe neutrophil. Okay, now coming to the pitfalls, because there was not much to discuss in the basics of myeloid. You all know I've shown you what a normal neutrophil, just पीछे I showed you, मैं पहले lectures में भी I've shown you what a normal neutrophil looks like. Now let us come to some dysplastic forms. See this over here. Why I've kept all these together is because these entities of a neutrophil or a polymorph confused with each other. So अभी सिर्फ देखो and try to register. Don't, even if you don't remember why these things are happening, it's okay. At least smear देख के for the first years. I'm not talking about PG2, PG3 or post MD. First year's MBBS देख के भी पकड़ लिया ना तो that take it as an achievement because patho is not that easy. Patho की importance भी समझ में आती है, but patho is one of the toughest subjects to study because you have to know everything from surgery to medicine. You even know the treatment. As a person who practices hematology, I also know what chemotherapy is given because I have to know what changes will happen after a marrow is given chemotherapy. Anyways, that is for further. But अगर अभी देख के भी समझ में आ गया ना तो बहुत बड़ा achievement है आपके लिए. Then slowly you can go and start retaining the causes. So coming back, see I have shown you a neutrophil pack also 2 to 6 lobes. यहाँ पे थोड़े ज़्यादा हैं 2, 3, 4, maybe 5. So this could be going towards the hypersegmented area, but not exactly. Fine, okay, you have seen a band form. See, parallel. See, horseshoe, parallel. All these are normal. Now you see this. This looks like, I don't know, not exactly a pin's nest is something like this. Those of you who are fond of those old British movies or who have read the Jane Austen movies and all that, or Sherlock Holmes and stuff like that, you must remember that British people used to wear glasses जिसपे बस एक ही बीच का होता था, 2 glasses होते थे, बाकी ये सब नहीं होता. So that is a pin's nest. So this is actually, that pin's nest thing is actually a hypolobated polymorph. यहाँ वो pin's nest बहुत classical नहीं है, this is more of a hypolobation. तो होने इतने lobes चाहिए हैं इतने. This is a dyspoetic polymorph. Sometimes it might confuse with a monocyte. Sometimes, not every time. See, I've got a pin's nest over here. I didn't notice. See. This is a pin's nest. There's this danda beech mein. This is a bar, and then there are 2 circles over here. This is a dyspoetic myelocyte. अच्छा, there are anomalies. I'll just take the name of them. अभी मैं ज़्यादा नहीं बताऊंगी उसके बारे में. Pelger-Hue and pseudo-Pelger-Hue. Pelger-Hue anomaly में क्या होता है कि न्यूट्रोफिल के ग्रैन्यूल्स डिस्मॉर्फिक होते हैं, डिस्प्लास्टिक होते हैं, एब्सेंट होते हैं. जो न्यूक्लियस होता है वो ऐसा पिंस नेस्ट जैसा हो जाता है, डिस्पोएटिक सा हो जाता है. ये एक्वायर्ड कंजेनाइटल भी हो सकती है. इसमें क्या होगा, न्यूट्रोफिल का फंक्शन सफर करता है. ठीक है, डिस्कस अबाउट द डिजीज लेटर, अभी मॉर्फोलॉजी पे रहते हैं. ये एक्वायर्ड भी हो सकता है कि कीमोथेरेपी है, ड्रग इंड्यूस्ड है, सीएमएल में मिल सकता है, मतलब अदर कुछ एमडीएस एक बीमारी होती है डिस्प्लेजिया की, उसमें मिल सकता है. ठीक है, अभी बस आप मॉर्फोलॉजी समझो. देन all these features over here just show you some sort of this. See, this is this is a hypersegmentation, and how can you say कि hypersegmented है? ये देखो, यहाँ पे एक fine chromatin दिख रहा होगा, ये ठीक है. As long as they are joined by chromatin, they are hypersegmented. Maximum segment जो अब तक मतलब I have observed is 6 lobes. There's a criteria for diagnosis. Even 1 6-lobed neutrophil or 3 5-lobed in 100 cells, a neutrophils. Initially it was 5 5-lobed neutrophil. So even 1 6-lobed and 3 5-lobed, just you can label it as a maybe a megaloblastic smear. मतलब hypersegmented polymorphs हैं इसमें. All these features just show some sort of a maturation defect between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. Okay. So there's something known as myelocathesis. माइलोकैथेसिस यही चीज है. ये देख लो कितने सारे इसके लोब्स हो रहे हैं, फ्रैगमेंटेशन ऑफ द लोब हो रहा है, लेकिन क्रोमैटिन प्रेजेंट है. तो ये देयर सम सॉर्ट ऑफ डिस्मॉर्फिज्म गोइंग ऑन, चाहे मलिग्नेंट हो, बेनाइन हो, ड्रग इंड्यूस्ड हो, जो भी हो, जो कि पॉलीमॉर्फ को ऐसा करे. तो ऐसा कुछ दिखे ना, गो टू योर सीनियर और जस्ट ओपन द टेक्स्ट बुक बिकॉज दिस इज नॉट. I don't know how much you can appreciate this cell over here. This is an apoptotic neutrophil. This is taken from my own slide. I'm sorry. If I enlarge it now, then the pixels break. So I'm going to make it over here. Let me just rub this off so that I get some space to do these things. Okay. So this is a apoptotic polymorph due to the sample kept for a long time. So what happened is, like, this is the cell, and you will see one nucleus ka ball here, one nucleus ka ball here, one nucleus ka ball here, and no chromatin is connecting them. Means the cell is dying. So do not confuse this with a dysplasia, with myelocathesis or some other cell or a parasite. This is nothing. This is a dying apoptotic neutrophil. Okay. You might sometimes see this in a very fresh post chemotherapy PS also. Sometimes they come out. Sometimes the effect of chemotherapy can be seen in a PS also. Alright. Okay. This big chart over here, this one shows you all sorts of polymorphic abnormalities. Here you see there are coarse granules in the polymorph. There are some diseases which have this. Meheglins, etc. I'll tell you later on. Meheglin mein there is exactly inclusions, but this can be a part of the dysplasia spectrum of caused by multiple reasons, or this can be a primary problem of the neutrophil which is genetic. Okay. Then there can be vacuoles. The shape might not be correct. See this again, Meheglin kind of big inclusions. There's a big vacuole in the neutrophil. There is hemophagocytosis over here, and this is a dysbiotic cell. There's hypersegmentation. See Pince-Nez, again Pince-Nez. Okay, with Pince-Nez with toxic vacuoles. All these are MDS, infective. These are the causes, but you should know what these are. ठीक है. सी ट्राइफोलिएट ऑल द न्यूट्रोफिल का जो न्यूक्लियस है वो बिल्कुल ही अजीब शेप का हो रहा है. ठीक है. So these are certain things that you should know about and should be able to recognize, and when you see this, please open your textbook or go to your CV. This is a bar body. That X-linked chromosome in females, this is only seen in females. This can give to this kind of a chromatin pattern, and this is known as a bar body. This is not abnormal. ठीक है. there will be small डम्बल शेप प्रोजेक्शन इन द न्यूक्लियस. ये कई बार दिखता है. आप कभी स्मेयर देखने की कोशिश करना, मिल भी जाएगा फीमेल स्मेयर्स में. फाइन. See, so I was telling you there are many neutrophil main, there are many abnormalities in the structure, in the granule. You know that the neutrophil has a cytoplasm, granules, and the nucleus. So first, let's come to this is a normal neutrophil, 2 to 3 lobes, fine granules. Then this is a band form. I told you, I've shown you. ठीक है. दिस इज यहाँ पे लिखा है, इट इज कॉल्ड इन सर्विस इन टाइम्स ऑफ नीड. मतलब सेप्सिस है, इन्फेक्शन से लड़ना है. तो जैसे एरिथ्रॉइड में होता था ना, जब बॉडी अंडर स्ट्रेस होती थी तो इमैच्योर एनआरबीसीज ब्लड में आने लगते थे. उन्हीं के साथ ये मेटामाइलोसाइट्स भी ब्लड में आने लगते हैं जब बॉडी को ज्यादा सेल्स की जरूरत पड़ती है, मोस्ट कॉमनली इन्फेक्शन. अगेन हाइपरसेगमेंटेड पॉलीमॉर्फ. See toxic vacuoles and granules, big coarse fine purple granules, and see I've shown here. The granules will look something like this, big coarse and fine purple, and these are toxic vacuoles. These are all those lysosomal vacuoles जो कि आप phagocytosis में create होते हैं, इनके अंदर बैक्टीरिया आता है और मर जाता है. Those granules become plump and toxic because they have to release all those chemicals जिससे phagocytosis होगी and वो बैक्टीरिया मरेगा. So all this is a sign of sepsis going on in the body. ठीक है. Then there are certain other, I told you, some acquired anomalies. So sometimes these vacuoles can become pink and big and coarse. Then there's this is a mucopolysaccharidosis. This is a congenital बीमारी है ये, and this thing is known as Alder-Eiley syndrome. Similarly, you can see whole body kind of inclusions, these pink, purplish, bluish inclusions. I'll show you one in the cytoplasm. This is commonly seen in Meheglins or in bad infections. Meheglin again एक type of CGD है, मतलब आपका न्यूट्रोफिल ठीक से फंक्शन नहीं कर रहा है, इंक्लूजन्स बन रहे हैं उसके साइटोप्लाज्म में ग्रैन्यूल्स की जगह, एंड इनके साथ साथ कभी स्मेयर में ना जाइंट प्लेटलेट्स भी दिखते हैं आपको. इट इज बेसिकली अ प्लेटलेट एंड अ पॉलीमॉर्फ प्रॉब्लम. ठीक है. See here you can see this purplish bluish thing. So these inclusions are seen in Meheglin. Okay, this over here is not a granule. This is a histoplasma, phagocytized histoplasmosis. ठीक है. I'm just showing these to you. Or you can, I'll come back to it as I go and take go. So this is actually a parasite which has been phagocytized. इतना लोड था इसका कि ये दिख भी रहा है. this I don't know how much you can appreciate. यहाँ arrow है, there is a blue something dot, like this is your neutrophil, this is the nucleus, and then there's a blue dot. It's always faint blue and very irregular. मतलब I am just changing the color. It's faint blue and very irregular. ये anaplasma है, a pathogen. You have to be very very observant to observe this. Western population में ये ज्यादा मिलता है, ठीक है. This is a pathogen, it is not an inclusion. इसको मैं recognize करती हूँ. It is very irregular and faint. It is not very solid like an inclusion. It is very irregular and faint. So this is an anaplasma. कई बार अच्छी स्टेज में बहुत अच्छा भी दिखता है, but this becomes a diagnostic dilemma sometimes. And these are not anaplasmas. Anaplasma एक ही होता है, एक उसमें. This is death crystals, the blue death crystals. जब बहुत ही ज्यादा बॉडी स्ट्रेस में होती है, बहुत ही ज्यादा सेप्सिस में होती है, बहुत ही खराब कंडीशन होती है बॉडी की, you get these blue crystals in the neutrophil, which is showing you that the cells are dying, the body is not able to fight, and this is a dangerous condition. Patient is serious. ठीक है, so these are death crystals of the neutrophil. Sometimes you get such big only bilirubin crystals, yellow colored crystals. Those are bilirubin crystals, very commonly seen in neonates and newborns, जिनका bilirubin high होता है. Basically, you all know neutrophil का function होता है phagocytosis. So what the neutrophil is doing is trying to phagocytize that extra bilirubin जो हर जगह body में deposit हो रहा है. अगर बच्चे को कोई problem है, so you can see that also. That image is not here, but you can see that also. Okay. Moving on. This is left shift. This you have to see, you can see myelocytes. यहाँ पे देखो D जैसा बन रहा है. This is some sort of a metamylo kind of. This is a pelga you normally see. This is a dysmorphic neutrophil. This is a proper mature neutrophil. So and यहाँ पे metamylo ऐसा बनने की कोशिश कर रहा है. So this kind of picture जब तुम्हें पूरी myeloid series PS में दिखे, you have to rule out leukemoid reaction versus CML, chronic myeloid leukemia. ठीक है, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन है, ल्यूकोमॉइड रिएक्शन वर्सेस सीएमएल, और इसको डिफरेंशिएट करने के क्या क्या पॉइंट्स होते हैं टेक्स्ट बुक में दिया. काउंट कट ऑफ क्या है, एक का 80,000 है, तब तक ल्यूकोमॉइड है, बियॉन्ड दैट इट इज अ सीएमएल. लैब स्कोरिंग क्या होती है, ल्यूकोसाइट अल्कलाइन फॉस्फेटेज या नैप स्कोरिंग भी कहते हैं, न्यूट्रोफिल अल्कलाइन फॉस्फेटेज. पढ़िए इसको जाके, ये बुक में दिया है, इट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. 40 to 100 नॉर्मल होता है. ये न्यूट्रोफिल जो सिर्फ एक सेप्सिस की वजह से इंक्रीज हुआ होता है ल्यूकोमॉइड रिएक्शन, उसमें पॉजिटिव मिलता है. लेकिन जब किसी को कैंसर होता है सीएमएल, तो उसमें नहीं मिलता है, क्योंकि दैट इज अ अबनॉर्मल कंडीशन. एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट बता दूं, जब आप ल्यूकोमॉइड रिएक्शन पढ़ोगे तो नॉट ऑलवेज माइलॉइड, देयर इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज लिम्फोइड ल्यूकोमॉइड रिएक्शन आल्सो. आई विल टेक दैट अप व्हेन आई एम टेकिंग सीएमएल्स, मे बी नॉट राइट नाउ. आज सिंपल मॉर्फोलॉजी की क्लास है, ठीक है. Then lymphocytes, reactive lymphocytes I have already shown you, which कई बार repeat हुआ है. What I want to show you are the blasts in the lymphoid cells. You see these cells with high NC ratio, I told you अभी lymphoid blast. Few with, you see यहाँ पे ना vacuoles है. So और ये देखो, ये पूंछ कितनी निकली है, हैंड मिरर इसको कहते हैं, हाथ का ग्लास जैसा, ठीक है, हैंड मिरर. ये देखो यहाँ पे भी, ठीक है. This kind of morphology opened up chromatin, very high NC ratio and very scant chromatin. यहाँ पे देखो कितना क्रोमैटिन, और उससे इसको कंपेयर करो कितना जरा सा है. सो दिस इज अ लिम्फोइड ब्लास्ट, दिस इज अ माइलॉइड ब्लास्ट. और ये जो दिख रहा है ना, ये पिंक, आई डोंट नो हाउ मेनी ऑफ यू कैन सी दिस लाइन, दिस इज अ ऑरोड, ठीक है. दीज आर सेल्स ऑफ CLL. प्लीज आप, आई एम रबिंग इट ऑफ, यू कैन टेक इन 3 सेल्स को ना जरा ध्यान से अपने दिमाग में पिक्चर बनाओ. दिस हैज वेरी लेस NC रेशियो. This one, I'm on this one right now. ठीक है, and few vacuoles over here. This one has big NC ratio and maybe granules and these rods in the cytoplasm. This one size में maybe इससे थोड़ा सा छोटा हो या इसके जैसा हो. यहाँ पे है कुछ amount of cytoplasm और थोड़ा opened up सा न्यूक्लियस है, लेकिन इससे ये ज्यादा mature लग रहा है, ठीक है. ये ज्यादा छोटा और यूनिफॉर्म है, ये तो बड़ा बड़ा सा एकदम जायंट्स है. ये CLL है, क्रॉनिक लिम्फोसिटिक ल्यूकेमिया, और इसका एक वेरिएंट होता है प्रो लिम्फोसिटिक ल्यूकेमिया. ये अडल्ट्स में ज्यादा होता है, मैच्योर लिम्फोइड का होता है. ये वाला जो है, ये अक्यूट लिम्फोब्लास्टिक ल्यूकेमिया, ये इमैच्योर ज्यादा होता है. तो ये ना, इससे बहुत लोग कंफ्यूज करते हैं. तो आगे आई टेल यू हाउ टू डिफरेंशिएट व्हेन आई टेक दीज ल्यूकीमिया सेपरेट, बट इनका इमेज दिमाग में बैठा, ठीक है। एंड दिस ओवर हियर इज अ सीएमएल, क्रॉनिक माइलॉइड ल्यूकीमिया। देखो पूरी सीरीज दिख रही है, न्यूट्रोफिल, माइलोसाइट, मेटामाइलोप्रो, माइलो इओसिनोफिल, ये देखो बेजोफिल, ये बेजोफिल होगा ये वाला, ठीक है। यू आर सीइंग एवरीथिंग ऑलमोस्ट, एनआरबीसी सब दिख रहा है इसमें, मेटामाइलो, all this in the PS, more than 80,000, 1 lakh count है इसका, lakh score reduced है, this is a CM, ठीक है। Okay, this is a very interesting thing. I just want to show you these pictures because I find them very interesting. I've seen it once only actually in my entire life till now, as a pathologist. These are hemoglobin C crystals in the PS. तो कभी कुछ ऐसा दिखे ना, बड़ा रेयर होता है देखना, एटलीस्ट मैंने नहीं देखा है. So if any one of you have seen, please do tell me. These are hemoglobin C condensation crystals. एक हीमोग्लोबिनोपैथी होती है, हीमोग्लोबिन सी, उसके क्रिस्टल्स कंडेंस कर जाते हैं पीएस पेरिफेरस में, वो ऐसे दिखते हैं। आई टेक दैट कि वो क्या होता है व्हेन आई एम टेकिंग द डिजीज, अभी बस देखो, दिस इज रियली इंटरेस्टिंग। देन these are immunoglobulin crystals in activated lymphoid cells. ये एक्टिवेटेड प्लाज्मा साइटोइड लिम्फोइड सेल, और उसके देखो ये साइटोप्लाज्म में दिख रहा है, ये जो एक नेगेटिव इमेज बन रही है रॉड की, ये क्रिस्टल्स हैं इम्यूनोग्लोबुलिन के। वेरी लकी इफ यू कैन सी देम, और ये इलेक्ट्रॉन माइक्रोस्कोपी में देखो दिख रहा है, ठीक है। दीज आर प्लाज्मा सेल्स, ये मल्टीपल माइलोमा का केस है, और देखो ये इम्यूनोग्लोबुलिन क्रिस्टल हेक्सागोनल कितना सुंदर है। एंड दिस इज नॉट अ क्रिस्टल, दिस इज अ हीमोफैगोसाइट। लग रहा होगा कि क्रिंकल्ड टिश्यू पेपर जैसा है, बट नो, दिस इज नॉट व्हाट यू थिंक, दिस इज नॉट गाउशर्स, दीज आर एलडी बॉडीज। ये हीमोफैगोसाइटोसिस दिखा रहा है, ये एलडी बॉडी खाया हुआ है मैरो के अंदर, ठीक है। ओके, कमिंग टू इओसिनोफिल्स, नॉर्मली हमने क्या पढ़ा है कि इओसिनोफिल की दो आंख होती है, एक बड़ा सा सेल होता है, लॉट्स ऑफ ग्रैन्यूल्स, ऑरेंजिश ग्रैन्यूल्स, pardon my drawing. Sometimes you might see like this one is fine, it has two lobes. You'll also see three lobes, more than three lobes, more than two lobes. These are dyspoetic eosinophils. Sorry, pardon me, not neutrophils, eosinophils, orange granules. This can be there post-drug, post-infection, post-parasitic infestations, as a part of MDS, as a part of recovering marrow after post-chemotherapy. Multiple causes for this. अभी तो morphology याद रखो इसकी, ठीक है। ये जो मैं इतनी जल्दी जल्दी बोल रही हूँ ना, this is because I have done my MD, then I am doing my SRship, तो वो याद हो जाता है उसके बाद। तो जिसको याद नहीं हो रहा है, डोंट वरी, जस्ट ट्राई एंड रिमेंबर दीज आर डिस्पोर्टिक। तो ये है तो अगेन सीनियर के पास जाओ या किताब खोलो, ठीक है। Okay, monocytes, hemophagocytes, and activated lymphoid I've already shown. So you see, these are monocytes. Okay, I've already told you, मैं दिखा चुकी हूँ पहले भी कि they have an eccentric. Ideal to definition eccentric, उनका एक nucleus होगा, vacuoles होंगे, pale sky bluish सा cytoplasm होगा. Why I have written the word activated lymphoid cells is कि कई बार activated lymphoid cells एक monocyte को mimic करते हैं, तो हम उसके साइटोप्लाज्म, एटलीस्ट मैं उसके साइटोप्लाज्म से पकड़ती हूँ। एंड द फैक्ट दैट पीएस में, एक ऐसे पीएस में जिसमें से वायरल चेंजेस ऐसे एक्टिवेटेड है, वैक्यूलेशन नॉर्मली मोनोसाइट में ज्यादा दिखते हैं, ठीक है। देन दीज आर ऑल मोनोसिटिक सेल्स, और ये जो तुम देख रहे हो ना, ये जो मोनोसिटिक सेल की लीनिएज होती है ना, वो टिश्यू में हिस्टोसाइट बनती है, ब्लड में मोनोसाइट्स रहती है। तो ऑल दोस डेंड्रिटिक सेल्स जिनके ऐसे फिंगर लाइक प्रोजेक्शन होते हैं साइटोप्लाज्म के, मोनोसाइट हिस्टोसाइट से ऑलमोस्ट एक ही रेटिकुलो हिस्टोसिटिक फैमिली का पार्ट है। तो ये देख रहे हो, ये सूडोपॉड जैसे इनके प्रोजेक्शन है साइटोप्लाज्म के, इसी से ये हीमोफैगोसाइटोसिस को इनिशिएट भी करते हैं। अपार्ट फ्रॉम दी सरफेस रिसेप्टर्स जो आपने रॉबिन में पढ़ा होगा, these also help in the process of hemophagocytosis. So I just wanted to show you a few images of that. You can know this is not a mast cell. I know some of you must be thinking a mast cell. No, this is not. This is hemophagocytosis. ये न्यूक्लियस है हीमो मतलब मैक्रोफेज का, उसमें देखिए ये सेल्स पड़े हुए जो कि टोटली इंटैक्ट है, पॉलीमॉर्फ है, दो एनआरबीसीज है, दीज सेल्स आर टोटली इंटैक्ट, ये लाइज नहीं हुए। अगर ये लाइज हो जाते, then this would become a debris laden macrophage. Till they are not lysed, they are totally intact. This is known as hemophagocytosis. एक इंटैक्ट सेल को मैक्रोफेज ने खाया है, ठीक है। इफ दे बिकम लाइज, देन दिस इज नोन एज अ डेब्री लेडन मैक्रोफेज। इसकी बहुत सिग्निफिकेंस है एज कंपेयर टू अ डेब्री लेडन मैक्रोफेज, ठीक है। I'll tell you क्या significance है later on, HLH and all that, अभी नहीं, you'll get confused. Another monocyte, कितना ये classical monocyte है, देखो किडनी शेप सी न्यूक्लियस है, साइटोप्लाज्म ज्यादा है, वैक्यूल्स है, क्लासिकल मोनोसाइट है, इसको रब कर देती हूँ जो देखना दोबारा चाहे उसके लिए, ठीक है. देन सी दिस इज अगेन हीमोफैगोसाइट, ये एक मोनोसाइट टाइप का है, टेंडेड सेलो एनआरबीसी खाया है, अगेन पॉलीमॉर्फ्स, सी पॉलीमॉर्फ्स खाया हुआ है. दिस इज समथिंग ऑफ अ डेब्री लेडन, देखो सब मर रहे हैं डॉट 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 करके, सेल मॉर्फोलॉजी नहीं क्लियर हो रही है साइटोप्लाज्म के अंदर, ठीक है. सो ऑल दिस इज हीमोफैगोसाइट. बेसोफिल, there is instead of it being a confounder, in एक लौता confounder बेसोफिल का होता है, वो hypogranular होता है, तो वो you might feel or even the machine might feel it as a lymphocyte, ठीक है. होता है क्या, hypogranular बेसोफिल टेढ़ा मेढ़ा से एक न्यूक्लियस होता है और ग्रैन्यूल्स सिर्फ एक मोटा या दो मोटा ग्रैन्यूल पड़ा होता है, तो दैट माइट कंफ्यूज यू विद द lymphocyte. अदरवाइज ये ऐसे ही डार्क, उसमें सिर्फ मैं तो बेसोफिल पकड़ती हूँ सिर्फ मोटे 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 ग्रैन्यूल्स. अगर एक या दो भी दिख रहा है ना खूब मोटा ब्लू इंक डॉट जैसा, जैसे ये देखो, यू आर इन लक. सी यहाँ एक न्यूक्लियस दिख रही, लेकिन मुझे पेरिफेरी पे देख रहे हैं मोटे मोटे ग्रैन्यूल्स दिख रहे हैं, देख रहे हो आप ये, लेट मी जस्ट चेंज इट टू रेड बिकॉज ये पेरिफेरी पे ग्रैन्यूल्स है, तो एक दो में मिल जा रहा है ना, जो बेसोफिल. एंड ये कॉमनेस्ट फाइंडिंग है सीएमएल की, नॉन बिनाइन में टीबी है, क्रोन्स डिजीज है, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा, बट मलिग्नेंट में सीएमएल में बहुत कॉमन नहीं होता. And there's something called as acute basophilic leukemia, बहुत common. In the end, I would like to come to these special stains. Just show you images. हम जब बोन मैरो एस्पिरेट को एग्जामिन करते हैं तो like we use Romanowsky stains, we can use Giemsa, we can also, and then there are certain stains. I also do an HN, but that is my वो कि कभी कभार मुझे morphology लीशमैन में, Giemsa में नहीं समझ में आ रही होती है, then I do an HNE. आप ट्राई करके देखना. The nuclear morphology when you are confused becomes very clear in an HNE. I like that stain. You might not like it, then don't do it. But I like it. तो मैं जिनको एक बार ट्राई करना है, they can do it. So this is the lab scoring stain. ठीक है, lab scoring ये इतना ही होना चाहिए, 40 to 100 इसका स्कोरिंग होता है, और अगर ये स्टेन लेना खत्म कर रहा है मतलब ये लुकीमिया की तरफ. दिस इज एन एमपीओ माइलोपेरोक्सिडेज, ये कभी ब्राउनिश कभी ब्लूइश ब्लैकिश बड़े मोटे मोटे ग्रैन्यूल्स होंगे, ये एएमएल को दिखाता है. माइलॉइड लीनिएज के ग्रैन्यूल्स को माइलोपेरोक्सिडेज स्टेन करता है बिकॉज ये एंजाइम उन ग्रैन्यूल्स के अंदर होता है. एंड दिस शोज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन माइलॉइड एंड लिम्फोइड ब्लास्ट. ये है आपका एएलएल का स्लाइड. ये देख रहे हैं डॉट पॉजिटिविटी, ये जो पिंक पिंक पास पॉजिटिव है ये डॉट है, ये पूरे में नहीं है, ये एक जगह एक डॉट की तरह है. बस इसका यही क्लासिक है बिकॉज बहुत सारे ऐसे लुकीमियाज होते हैं एएमएल के भी जिनमें पास पॉजिटिव होगा, लेकिन वो जो पास होगा ना, सपोजिंग ये न्यूक्लियस है एंड आई जस्ट चेंज दिस रेड कलर अ बिट, वो डिफ्यूजली पूरे साइटोप्लाज्म में एक आ रहा होगा, उसकी कोई वैल्यू नहीं. ठीक है. जब आप लोग फैब क्लासिफिकेशन आजकल डब्ल्यूएचओ चलता है, लेकिन अगर फैब की मॉर्फोलॉजी में देखेंगे आप लोग तो जो एरिथ्रॉइड लुकीमियाज होते हैं या मेगा कैरियोसिटिक लुकीमियाज होते हैं उसमें पास पॉजिटिव भी होते हैं डिस्पाइट इट बीइंग माइलॉइड, और हम पढ़ते आते थे कि पास लिम्फॉइड है. दोज आर डिफ्यूज पॉजिटिविटीज. एमपीओ इज ऑल्सो नॉट 100% स्पेसिफिक. इनिशियल माइलॉइड M0 में एमपीओ नहीं आता है, 3% ब्लास्ट आते हैं फर्स्ट स्टेज में. सो दीज आर जस्ट अ हेल्पर, ये 100% नहीं है. देन इसीलिए द पेपर सजेस्ट कि whenever you want to interpret special stains, do MPO and pass together. Don't interpret it singly. पास की जो सेंसिटिविटी है वो 70-80%. अलोन में उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है जब तक कि वो पॉजिटिव ना है. पैनल में करने से एटलीस्ट यू कैन रूल आउट हाउ इज द लिम्फोइड और माइलॉइड. सो यू हैव टू डू दीज टू स्टेन्स टुगेदर. मोनोसिटिक लीनिएज के देयर इज NSE. ठीक है. देन माइलॉइड देयर इज समथिंग लाइक SBB. I have not done it. People used to do it. I don't do it. They give these black granules. This is actually not. This is bluish black. Picture में black लग रहा है. This is sometimes brownish also. Methodology पे depend करता है. But see, this is a nice hour rod over here. You can see over here. This is hour rod. ये myeloid lineage. This is SBB. ठीक है. Sudan black blue. Basically ये जो MQ and pass है ये ज़्यादा याद होना चाहिए. In the end, I would like to show you this last thing. ये मैंने इसलिए डाला है because there's something known as CGDs, granulomatous disorders, chronic granulomatous disorders. इसमें क्या होता है, बच्चों की न्यूट्रोफिल अपनी फंक्शन नहीं परफॉर्म कर पा रही होती है, phagocytic activity, एंड बच्चा बार बार इन्फेक्शन के उससे जाता है. बेसिकली दैट इंटायर इम्यूनोडेफिशिएंट सिंड्रोम जो होता है, जो स्पेक्ट्रम है, ये उसी का एक हिस्सा है. वन ऑफ दीज डेज आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्कस दैट एज अ डिजीज एंड देन टेल यू इन डिटेल. The nitroglycerin tetrazoleum test detects the phagocytic function of the polymorphonuclear, that is the neutrophil. Phagocytosis में जो degradation होता है, the entire process enzyme based होता है. We just check कि वो enzyme बन रहा है कि नहीं बन रहा है, and we use this enzyme to do that. And when you do this test, then the colorless neutrophil जो कि normal PS में होता है should turn blue black. If it is not turning this blue black, means that the child is suffering from some sort of immunodeficiency problem or a polymorph fighting problem. ठीक है, just retain this, ये कोई discuss नहीं करता है. I'm just showing this to you. We'll discuss in detail in some other lecture. So that is it. So this was a short one, 10 minutes short. Thank you so much, and I hope this was of help. And these are my references. And please do not supplement these lectures from a textbook. जब आप textbooks पढ़ोगे, तो these are the troubleshoots and easy pointers कि textbook की language आपको ज़्यादा अच्छा समझ में आए. Alright, so this is just a help add-on to the textbook. This won't replace the textbook. And my personal advice is do go through articles. Articles are getting updated every day. So if you read the textbooks and articles about those topics every day, your knowledge will improve, your understanding will improve better. So until I'm back with my third part on megakaryocytic series, enjoy this tutorial, and thank you so much.